Hello, everybody.
Hello, Ms. Dila.
Hi. So this is the new students of batch 2025.
25, yes.
Yeah. 2025. How many students in
I think we
class?
have around for batch
39, yeah. Oh, 39, including the leader, yeah.
yes, yes, Ms. Dila, including the FLs and everyone, it's 39.
So the FL are five students. Okay. So they're like 34, I guess. Can you guys turn on your camera so I can see how you all look like? Hello. Kemilau Satu Rindu. Wow, namanya bagus. Oh, the background, the virtual background is different, yeah. You have like different background every single day for this FYP. Yeah.
Oh, this is the new one because they just had their inauguration.
Okay. So I think I knew some of your faces during the academic advisor. Yeah, Savannah, Jess, Jessica, there are two Jessicas. Okay, so basically we are here to get to know each other and sort of like, not really class simulation, yeah, but the online simulation. So let me introduce myself. So I'm Dila Kana. I'm handling some subject in BINUS Northumbria School of Design and mostly typography classes. So for the ones who taking graphic design, you will be with me on 3 classes. The fundamental principle of typography, it will be in the second year or second semester, yeah. I don't really remember the new curriculum, I think second year. And then digital typography. So basically typography 1, let me just introduce a little bit about the typography class. Typography 1 is a fundamental principle of typography. And it's very basic of typography, dealing with fonts and other stuff like that. And in the following semester, in the semester 3, I guess, yeah, it's you have for the GDNM, for the graphic design, you will have digital typography. It's basically motion graphic, yeah. Jadi kind of like kinetic typography. And then the last class of typography is we call it now is typography for publishing. It's basically you deal with typography layouting on print base and on screen base. For all streaming, yeah, graphic design and IDM, interactive digital media, you all get the fundamental principle of typography, learning the basic principle of typography. And then for the second year, for the IDM, I think you will be taking another class, not with me, but for the one who's taking GDNM, you'll be taking classes on typography, kinetic typography, or we call it digital typography, and typography for publishing. Basically layout on screen base and print base. And also you have classes with me ahead are design studies. Yeah, I'm mostly teaching on graphic design streaming and handling beside typography classes. I'm handling the design studies classes. It's a core subject for graphic design. Okay, with me, I think there is also Sir Will, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, Sir Will also teaching mostly in graphic design streaming, right, Sir Will?
Yes. So
yeah,
you'll meet with me first time, I think, in your second year, third semester. Half of you will see me for illustration design, and another half will do audiovisual one. So I teach three main classes in design. The first one being illustration design, the second one being audiovisual 1, and then the last one is audiovisual 2. Illustration design is illustration for design, meaning that the illustration is not entirely the purpose or the point of the work, but the application of the illustration is what you'll need to learn about. This means that you'll be experimenting maybe or trying out new or old mediums that you guys may or may not have used before, some traditional, some digital, and then apply it to assignments like creating book covers or film posters and such, tarot cards, greeting cards, and so on and so forth. And then audiovisual 1. So my classes are some of the only classes in graphic design and the new media that deals with creating videos. You'll get animation from the other classes, but in my classes, we start from tools, basically like cameras and stuff, and studying the basics or understanding the basics of visual communication, meaning that you'll be taught to write scripts, for the purpose of making videos and films, and you'll be taught to do storyboards, making storyboards, doing script breakdowns, preparing for a project like shooting, and then in audiovisual 2, you'll shoot some videos like for advertising videos and for PSAs and stuff like that. So if you are interested in making videos and short films or anything that has to do with creating like videos, you could look forward to those classes in your second and third year. Like Ms. Dila, I also do final project supervision. That means that you'll also see me in your fourth year, either as your supervisor or as someone that you'll see during presentation defense. That's about it.
Yeah, right. And so just curious, who's taking like graphic design in this batch, or you haven't decided yet? From some of my students in my AA academic advisory, they're still like thinking about it.
Yes, most of us are going to take IDM.
Okay. So yeah, for IDM classes, I handle experimental design class for IDM. It's gonna be your third year, yeah, right before your intern. So you will have an intern after your third year, yeah, right in the compact semester on the short course. I'm taking DD. Okay, Michelle, and okay. And yeah, I think it's pretty much what me and Sir Will are teaching for the rest of your 4 years future here. And is any of you like taking the 3+1, meaning the last year you're taking the final? Oh, Wilhelm, is that right? You're taking a 3+1. Any other? You can just raise your hand. by the icon, I mean, or you just, okay. Oh, okay, siapa itu tadi? Oh, Kira and Aurelia, Dika. Things are okay. Yeah, it's yeah, the final year in Northumbria you have to like a lot of preparation. Yeah, I think Serbayu already shared the kind of requirement, but no worries, because basically if you have a good portfolio during your first 3 years, yeah, here, and you have not missed any classes, I mean, you go through without retaking it, it's basically fine. And just try to, since it has to be clean, meaning no retaking, to be on time, graduate on time. So just make sure your first 3 year here smooth, yeah, not retaking any classes. Okay, is there any Najwa, batch 2025, are they going to be on site or online? Do you know?
So we have 2 options for batch 2025. So this, a couple of them are going to go on site. I know Barapa signed up for on site, and there's still some online, but yeah, they have both options.
Oh, okay. May I know who's taking on site? Siapa yang taking? Jessica taking on site. Okay. Oh, banyak juga ya, Kira, Aurelia, Francisca, Kaiser Isabel, ini siapa, Larissa, Lenina. Oh, udah ini ya, bosan ya online ya. You have kind of like get bored the online situation driving you guys crazy, I guess. Yeah, because I know what I did with my kids. I sent him away because he really wants to get out of the house and get more experience outside the house. Yeah, even though it's just in the campus, but it helps. All right. So I think I will share you some, let me, but have you been in FX before? Or I mean, FX in 6th floor ya, in our campus? Udah ada yang udah belum? Or if you haven't got there yet, I think I have, oh udah, Dika, you've been there?
Yes, Miss.
Oh, okay. Kaisaria juga ya?
I didn't went in the campus though. I was just outside the
6th floor.
the BINUS sign, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually we have a very conducive, yeah, the campus, and then the equipment is quite cool, like the tool. So if your parents allow you, and I think we have some on-site class. I have on-site class next semester, and it's gonna be on Friday. But I don't know yet. So really, kalau student have to be there, they must have certain like requirements, like.
Yeah, well, some students are asking about that, and I've been in communication with the student services about this, and they promised that they would update me, but they haven't done so yet. So as soon as I get something, I'll notify some of you, and you could tell your friends about it, because I've got this question a couple of times and I don't know the answers to it, like what they need to prepare and stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, some of them also ask me whether they want to have offline or online. I mean, from the senior students, yeah. Okay, let me just take a look FX, yeah, from the assignments that done in surreal class, but it's the topic about my class. So we kind of like a video combining those two subjects, which is audiovisual and typography. So since this class handling with those two, let me just share the video and ya kita lihat aja FX seperti apa melalui video ini. Hopefully it's jalan bagus ya, sebentar ya. Let me open it up and everything. Okay, sebentar. I can share screen ya. Oh ya, okay.
This is a journey into sound.
Yeah, so that was a kind of like sneak peek for typography. Yeah, and I think Servil, you want to show some of your classes kind of assignment to give the students glance of it.
Yes, hold on a second. Let me. Right, so I'm going to show you some. I'm going to show you some of the artwork that students submitted for my class. Now, as I mentioned before, some of the first classes that you guys get from me is illustration design, where you guys are tasked to create illustrations based on specific things, for instance, book covers or greeting cards or books themselves or posters for films and so on and so forth. So what I'm about to show you are some of the artworks that some of the students did for the mid project. So the mid project, every couple of years, I change it. So you get you either get to do a tarot card set, which is 22 cards, or you do greeting cards. You know, something like Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, Happy Birthday, and so on and so forth. You have to make a set with a specific theme for it, make the back side of it, and then decide what you want to make it out of. You know, like, do you want to do it manual, like with watercolor or pencils, or do you want to do it digital, and so on. I collected some of the best from the recent years. So I'm about to show you some of these. Yeah, hold on. All right, can you see this? Can you see my screen?
Yeah. It
Right.
shows.
So this girl is an exchange student. So her greeting card set has a forest theme to it, and she did it digital. So her theme is forest, semi-realistic, and so what they did, the students, all of them, I briefed them. 15 holidays. You get to pick 5, and then the 10 I decide what they are. And then you have to apply the theme that you chose. So sometimes the theme could be like underwater creatures, sometimes it's Indonesian folklore, sometimes whatever's. And this girl chose forest wildlife. I forgot what this one is, but this is, I think, Baltic Way Day. So because she's not Indonesian, she's European, apparently they have this thing where everyone holds hands, and she made this greeting card based on that. And the next one here is birthday, happy birthday. So these forest animals are just like celebrating, as you can see here. Yeah. And then, so I'm just showing you the illustration because when you submit it, you have to submit as card, which means that greeting cards, you need to have like the place where people write their name and greeting and so on and so forth. When it comes to tarot cards, you also have to have room for the name of the card, like I'll show you later. This birthday, this is Chinese New Year. As you can see, the theme is still jungle or forest or something, but with this like Chinese dragon. And then you got this, which is Christmas, again with a cold and whatever's. Easter. Now this is interesting. So she's not familiar with Eid al-Adha, right? Because she never lived in Indonesia before. She's not familiar with Islam. So then when I asked her, you need to make an Eid al-Adha greeting card. The typical result would be like just have someone bring a goat, right? Because Eid al-Adha is goat, which is boring. Those ideas are boring. And generally when you pitch ideas that are boring and generic, I would say no to it. So what she did was she finds out what the holiday is about. Now the holiday is about, if you're familiar with with Islam and Christian religion, like the holy books, there's Abraham or Ibrahim in Indonesia, and there's the son, and Abraham was told to, sacrifice the son, for God. So instead of making it about goats and stuff, she made it about the original story, which I find to be interesting. This is a wolf and a pup, and then here's God saying, no, don't kill, don't worry, it's just a test. Anyway, so very good idea. And then there's this Fitri where everyone is like hugging, and then you've got this Halloween. This is very typical of Indonesian thing, yeah. And then this New Year with and this is another European holiday. And this is the kind of thing, yeah. So the type of assignment you'll get, it's not just like you illustrate something, but you illustrate something with a purpose. So you'll need to come up with a concept, look into it, and then do a bit of research, and then come up with ideas, and then pitch it to me, and then do the assignment, as you can see here. So this is one assignment. Let me show you some more. Hold on. Right, can you see this?
Yes.
Now, this is a very old student. In fact, so old that the student has now become a lecturer in BINUS. This is Sir Andre's class batch from 2012, I think. His assignment of this time was making tarot cards. So again, like I said, 22 tarot cards, the important ones. You create you decide on the theme, and then you pitch it, and then you pitch on how, the art style and the medium of it, and created a set of these cards. As you can see here, tarot cards have a specific dimension, and you have to write the name of the card itself. His theme is, I forgot at this point, it's been 9 years, but very cool style, yeah. So it's not typical tarot card illustration. I think nowadays you could find different types of, like interesting themes of tarot cards on the internet very easily. But I think 9 years ago, it wasn't quite as, often that you find these like weirder themes for tarot card. And this was one of the cool ones that was submitted. High Priestess. So the art style is like cartoon, not sketch, but caricature, no caricature, but cartoon, yeah, I suppose. Flat and abstract in a bit. Emperor, right? So again, you need to find a theme, you need to find an idea, and then you need to look into it, and then discover or figure out what the art style is, and then sketch them out, and then pitch it to me, and then if I say yes, you submit it. Like creating a series of cards is not easy because you have to be consistent with the style and the theme. So if you decide that the theme would be like forest animals, then you have to come up with ideas that would, be able to accommodate for that idea or theme. This very cool stuff. Like I said, you will meet Sir Andre in your, I think, 2nd or 3rd year. I think he teaches animation. Right. These are tarot cards, and let me show you a bit more. Hold on. What I'm about to show you next is the final project for the illustration design class, which is to make a book, an illustrated book. You can choose whatever book you want to make into illustration, but they have to be mostly illustrated. You don't have to write it yourself. For instance, you could find an existing book and decide to cover it, or you could make your own book if you like. Many students decide to make their own books. Others just adapt existing books. Here is an example of someone from 4, 5 years ago. I forgot. There you go. So the book is Survival Foods for College Desperates. So a cookbook for students who go to COS. She did a bit of research into the recipes and such on the internet and finding out things that kids could do from COS when they're students, and came up with this art style. So from cover to cover, she designed and illustrated. So you can see here, why do you need this book? Explanation. So the text here is something that she came up with. So see. The style of illustration is different from the one before. This one is more sketchy, like the lines and such. But the color palette she chose to be more kind of warm and so on, as you can see. So for the book assignment, students at the time, at least, they need to actually make the book. So you print it out and submit as a book. These days, because of the pandemic and you can't really go to campus, a lot of the students submit digital, but I always encourage that even if your artwork is digital, the projects and submissions, you should still print a physical copy of the book, because as a designer, you will need the portfolio at some point in your future. And it's always good to have like a book or a thing that you could show, especially if you make it really good. As I said, I allow students to come up with the content of the book. They could theme. You could write or make a book about anything that you are interested in. So if you have a hobby, if you're interested in something in particular, like maybe you're a K-pop fan, you said, I want to make a book about K-pop. If you could come up with something interesting, then you could make that book. And the great thing is that what you get to make a book that doesn't exist, and so having something that you really like in your hand, something that you wish would exist but doesn't, even for the tarot card also, or the greeting cards, and you make it and then you put it at home. And if you do it really well and it looks like a real book, which many of students did, they submitted books that they really went for it, like hardcover, book jacket, and so on, good print quality. People could come up to you and look at the book and say, where'd you buy this? And you could say, I made it myself. So that would be kind of cool. One more book I would like to show you. Hold on. Right. This is a recent one from last semester, I think. Book about cats. Cats and dogs are very, very popular theme in my class. There's always going to be a student that pitches a book about cats or dogs because everyone likes it. So this is a book about cat behavior, and this is the cover, right? Understanding your master. This is the inner sleeve. As you can see, it looks kind of neat. She made these things herself, put all these things here, text, and so the book, see, like this, kind of cool. And so this is the I don't know if this is in sequence, yeah. So the eyes, and then there's information about the cat's eyes, illustrated the things, and then added these things, and then added whatever. Like this, like behavior of cats. Ears. Right. I don't know if you have cats, you might know this. Right. So yeah. Right. So illustration design. These are just a few examples of what you can do in illustration design. Making illustrations for specific functions, books or whatever. I have also some examples from audiovisual 2 classes, but I would like to ask Ms. Dila first. Ms. Dila, would you like to show something first?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think it's very interesting from your surreal. If you can see, guys, that you don't have to lose your characteristic illustration, characteristic illustration. So maybe in classes with Sir Alec, unfortunately, it's not making it here today. Drawing is basically you're like taking the real stuff, like the composition, and you draw what you see. But in the real class, you can like and kind of like elaborate your own. So you will have like a kind of characteristic, unique illustration for each of you. And now go back to the typography. If you see in the real class, there are a lot of like, of course, it's heavily type of illustration, and in typography class, I will just show you some of the sample for illustration classes. Let me open it up, the file that I have, and so it's kind of like show you what typography poster in this case, the typography poster look like. Let me open it up. Okay. So basically, this is one of okay. So this is basically one of the final project for typography classes. So after learning all type of designers that focus on typography, and then you have to come up with your own style, but inspired by something in the history. So it's not like just designing pick up from nowhere, but of course you learn about the typography style during the eras, yeah. And this is just, okay. And this is one of the famous, inspired by one of the famous typographers or / graphic designers. It's called David Carson. And the student Catherine Bernice took the soul of his artworks and tried to implement the artwork and study what the technical aspect that he used for his work and tried to implement it digitally. And this is another Carson style, but it's interpreted by Adelia, another student. It's in the senior batch, I guess. And this is another sample for typography class poster, and inspiration comes from Paula Scher. This is also, I allow you to take some resources if you have your personal interest or personal or favorite artist or style designer or typography. Yes, you can also explore that and try to make it your own. Yeah, so these are just other sample of it. So if you can see, it's heavily typography, because this is particularly you're learning about fonts to distinguish different typefaces and to expose how to use it beyond just the layout or beyond as a reading tools, yeah. But you can see it as the tools or image rather than just reading tools. And on the digital typography for the following courses, yes, you still deal with typeface, but also you can incorporate with some illustration. which is kind of interesting. Let me open it up. Can you see my screen?
No.
Oh, wait.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. Can you see it? No?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is also typography, but then done with After Effects, and the focus is like the making the motion of typography, as we can see it here. Okay, and let me show you other sample done by the student. You can see the different style, yeah. So since we are having like a small class, it's the advantage of having small class is that we can pay attention into your characteristic of design. So you can just strengthen your own style. Okay. Can you see it? I mean, it's
Yes.
still black, but sure, right? Yeah, so that was basically a story behind her own name style. And so she has to create a logo type, a personal logo to express what her characteristic was. So that was the story behind her logo that show up on the end of the video of the kinetic typography on my class. So basically that's all from me right now. Servio, are you going to add some more?
Yes. So I'm going to show you a couple of more works from audiovisual 2. I'm going to skip audiovisual 1 because there's not much to see for people who are like they don't understand what it is yet, because it's like part of the bigger process. But audiovisual 2 is has projects that you could actually see. Anyway, now, so before I continue with this, notice how Ms. Dila said using typography and using After Effects to do this and that, making animation and so on. So in BINUS, we have different classes and different things that you guys study. Illustration in one class and typography and then color, all these things. They we make sure that the assignments has a synergy to it, meaning that I teach you illustration and then Ms. Dila teaches you typography. But then in my class later, when you're making illustration design, you need to use typography. So I'm going to assume that you paid attention to her class. Or later when you're doing audiovisual 1 and 2, when you need to use cameras and lighting equipment and such, I will assume that you guys paid attention in photography class, because these things build on top of another. So meaning that make sure that all these things, you go through them according to what, the syllabus and such. We put a lot of effort into making these things work together. You know how some schools, for instance, I don't know if you guys are, a lot of schools, you learn A, you learn B, you learn C, has nothing to do with each other. Who cares? We put a lot of effort into making these things have a connection to them. So at the end of the 4-year, when you are heading towards your final project, or even during your school, like during 3rd year and 4th year, when you're making assignments, for sure, every single thing that you have learned before, from making images, drawing things, making what is it called, grids, using colors, using computer graphics, all these things will combine into the later classes. Nothing here, I hope, is wasted. So with that in mind, I would like to show you this assignment from the mid project of audiovisual. So the mid project for audiovisual 2 is you guys make video advertising videos for products or services that exist in real life. That means that you team up and then you find an object, a product or a service, for instance, Coca-Cola or BINUS as a school or anything like that. And then you make advertising videos for these things. You need to find out who the potential market is, who wants to buy it. Like if it is Coca-Cola, who likes to buy Coca-Cola, understanding so on and so, very complicated, but when you get there, you'll understand why it is important. And then you make for the assignment, you make a series of videos for that product. Now, let me show you some. See this?
Yes.
Oh, wait, hold on. I haven't. There you go. Now sound is also shared. Now this is the product here is Pocky Sakura flavor. Yeah. So Pocky is a snack and Sakura is that one that has a, because Pocky has different flavors, and so they chose a specific one to make advertising for. The idea here is to use game iconography for or language to sell the product. Here we go. Right. So looks very simple, but a lot of work and a lot of thinking went into it. Concept, you know, like when they figured or decided that, okay, the language that we'll use is video games, they need to find out what kind of video game would work for it, what kind of so on and so forth. And they made several alternatives to it. Here's another one from the same group, different alternative of the video. There you go. So two different Pockies with a similar concept, finding out what looks nice and so on and so forth. Here's another group who did an advertising also for, what is this called? Shit, I forgot what the brand is, but you'll see while we watch it together. Yeah. Same, they have to make a advertising video for a product, and they chose this. And instead of selling it, oh, I remember what the product is. It's a Post-it. So instead of selling it as like, okay, Post-it, everyone knows what a Post-it is, to the point where, like, you could just go out, and buy any, and people don't really think about the brand anymore, right? Because you just need those things and you just call it Post-its. So how do you sell something to people that, no longer thinks about what the function is? Everyone knows what it's for and so on. So what they did was they make something that has an extra thing to it, like a twist to it, that makes people remember what it is, instead of just like the function of it. Watch. Oh. Right? So you get the idea, right? We know what it is, but instead of, oh, this is stronger than other brands, let's use it. Let's use something else, something fun. So in this case, the theme of their work is horror films. This is one they made, which is like there's a like a spirit on the loose, and they put the ward on the door, but then it came down, and so they use the Post-it, and it's the ghost tries to blow it off, and it doesn't work because it's stronger than usual. With that theme, with the horror theme, as you could see the visuals, it looks like a typical kind of like, not typical, but the standard Hollywood horror, right? The color grading, it looks like that, with the dark and shadows. And they also have, with the same concept, which is horror, they made another one also for the product, but this time the horror is Asian horror. Now, if you're familiar with Asian horror films, you could know that the visuals, the colors and everything is very different. So have a look at this. Right. So yeah, there you go. Bit of fun idea that they have with the smoke machine and the old kind of like Asian horror trope that they use in the ads. The message is clear, you know, like with this is stronger than any other sticky notes that you could use and so on. So making these is immensely difficult. They have to come up with a concept, an idea, and then they have to come up with a script, and then they need to storyboard it, and then they need to find a place to shoot, and then they need to find actors, and then they need to find props, and then they need to shoot it, and then they need to edit it, and then so on and so forth. It's a complicated thing, but it's very cool and very fun to do. And as I said before, it combines all of the things that you learned in the previous years. Who knows, you might also be interested in being a filmmaker or something once you started to do these projects. Anyway, so that's about it that I could share with you guys. Ms. Dila, what else do we need to do with this?
Yeah, following what you just said, Sarwell, I think, guys, you have to like always remember to keep your files. Yeah, you must have a backup because you definitely need it for the when you do your portfolio, and just make sure you have the backup of your files, and because you need it for one class on the third year. It's called Design Studies 3 or Interactive Design Studies 3, where you have to make up your online portfolio or print portfolio, both, yeah. By that time, to make it easier, just starting compiling your study works or your personal works if you have, because you really need it for your interim and future. So just keep in your mind, always having a backup for your artworks. Yeah, whether it's print artwork or it's screen up artwork, you should have a backup to make it easier in the future to build up your portfolio. So having that said that, I think I will close this session by showing you a portfolio, one of the portfolio done by the alumni. I think Ziger did it on 2020, and she made it like a very interesting compiling portfolio through all the platform from Instagram, Behance, and other social media, including her own portal. Yeah, I guess I will just show you the video so you can just enjoy by yourself. Okay, let me share screen here. Can you see it?
It's loading.
Is it?
It's not there yet. Okay, it's there.
Oh, okay.
Hi all, my name is Cindy. I'm a former graphic design student at BINUS, and I'm in the UK at the moment after finishing my final year a few months ago. And today I want to share a few things in regards to building my portfolio. So as a designer, my main scope of work are product photography, content creation, illustration, and animation. A little background story. So I started doing product photography specifically for beauty products about a year ago, just for fun at first. And then earlier this year, I got this amazing opportunity to work with Dior on a campaign. And here are the content I produce for them. And from then on, I started to develop a style of my own that I carry throughout my portfolio. I think Instagram is a great place to start building your portfolio and connect with the right people. All these companies I've worked with actually found me through my Instagram page alone. Especially with what's been going on at the moment, I feel like digital media has become such a massive world of its own where us as creatives have the advantage here realized because we can work basically from anywhere in the world. Aside from photography, I'm also an illustrator and animator. Here in the UK, ideally we were encouraged to hand over physical portfolio to design studios or agencies to find a placement. But since we simply cannot at the moment, I'm focusing more to put myself out there as much as I can. Again, started from Instagram, and I created a website to display my work and contact information in a more professional way. Behance, where I can highlight each work in more detail. Vimeo is ideal for videos such as animation and reels. Business account on Pinterest is also great to market your work. LinkedIn to connect with people in the industry. And last but not least, a business email to keep everything work-related organized in one place. And don't forget to link them all together. Make sure to leave a link at least to a website on all the accounts you have and keep everything up to date. Those are the most important things. I'm working independently as a freelance at the moment. And sometimes brands or companies that I work for product photography commission me for design-related work after seeing my other portfolio. And I feel like that's the awesome thing about the digital sphere. Okay, so I think I'm gonna wrap up here. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram pages and we can chat more there. Bye and good luck.
Yeah, I guess so. That's all from our classes today, or class today. Yeah, I hope you got kind of like insight what you're going to be learned in the future in our program. So anything more, Surreal? Oh, okay.
No, not quite. I think that's about it. I've shown you guys what to expect in the next couple of years. Now, I warn students usually that university in BINUS is can be frustrating because you're not being taught how to do things a lot of the time. You figure that if you want to know how to do things, you could just YouTube it. It's stupid. You can pay a lot of money to be told how to use Photoshop, right? Right. What we want you guys to do is learn to know why you do things. As soon as you understand the workings of these things and why you guys need to do the things that you do, everything will fall into place. Tools is not important. You could always use other things. In fact, you could use pencils if you really need to. A lot of the students that had gone abroad after they finished tell me once they started to do their jobs at their offices, many of them tell us that it's so different, like the students or the people, the professionals who are there working and the ones and them, the ones who learn from BINUS, because they're more prepared to, like they're told by their supervisors, their bosses, to make something, and then they do it. They come up with a concept and they do it, and then they submit it to the boss, and then the boss looks at it and said, "Oh, this is not. You need to change it like so." And then our students would say, "No, you can't do that because, well, not you can't do that. No, there's a reason why I did this," and then the student would be able to explain why they do it, or the alumni, and then the boss would then go, "Oh, okay," and then move on. Because the student or the alumni understands why they did it. And they could explain it to their bosses and so on. And that's what I hope you guys would be able to do as well when you finish here. That you're not just someone who, like your boss say, you do this, because why pay so much money for that? Anyway, good luck.
Good luck, Gus. And I think Najma will take a picture of us Right.
Oh yes, Ms. Stila. Before everyone leaves and we wrap this up, can I please invite Fidelia to take the screenshots? So everybody, please turn on your camera. Okay, we'll just wait for a few more people. And there are still a few people who haven't turned on their cameras. Kai, Jess. Okay, I'll take the pictures now. 3, 2, 1. Second slide. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.